Welcome to episode 201 of the Prosperity Practice, the podcast that has you living your most abundant life. My name is Danielle Amos, and I am your host. Today, I have a clip of a conversation, a very potent conversation. I was being interviewed about money. And this episode, I introduce the concept of paradigm. I teach and I've taught paradigm before. Paradigm's your subconscious programming. And I give an analogy, a story, and I talk about the automatic programming of a computer or a phone and the subconscious mental programming in humans. And the person that interviews me, she talks about how the paradigm is automatic when we're a child. And I emphasize the need to recognize and change the beliefs consciously in order to make deep change in your life. And those of you that are subscribers, we've got a 201 plus episode for you where I go into decision making and the importance of making swift, committed decisions. So acting quickly based on your desire, not based on logic. And I share with you the power of a decision, because when we procrastinate or we don't make a decision, that's actually a decision and it causes failure. Procrastination is the number one reason for failure. So if you have procrastinated, if you struggle with that, episode 201 plus is going to be for you. Even if you think that you make fast decisions, perhaps, especially this new weekend, this new year, listening to how to make it powerful decisions and practicing that, especially in these first few weeks of the year, is very powerful. So enjoy. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to your questions, comments, and posts. I love you and expect abundance. A paradigm is a multitude of habits, your mental programming that's in your subconscious mind. So the truth is, all of us, it doesn't matter who you grew up as your parents with, or like where you grew up, we all have a paradigm, which is that program. Just like your phone or your computer has a program, it's running automatically. As human beings, we received a paradigm between the ages of 0 and 7. And so that programming was given to us by our caregivers, by our teachers, by our, all the people that loved us, and also genetics, but mainly environmental. And the things that were said around us, the experiences we had with the most repetition and the most emotion became our strongest paradigms or programming. So if you think about how this relates to money, it's actually huge. It's until a human being changes their paradigm, they're just habitually showing up. And so they get up in the morning, they're automatically doing the things they're doing. There's not much thought about it. How you pay your bills, how you perceive money, it's all automatic. You received it from mainly your parents. Now, what's important, because often at this stage, people who are listening, who are our parents, go, oh my gosh, I programmed my kids. Just like your parents, they did the best they could. They couldn't give you what they didn't have. So if they didn't have a prosperity mindset, there's no way you received one. And in fact, 97% of the population, approximately, maybe more, were raised in a lack mindset. And so, of course, we grew up in lack, thinking there's not enough, thinking that we had to trade time for money, thinking that we have to save our penny for the rainy day. All these sayings, money doesn't grow on trees. Think about it. All these things were programmed into us. However, it's not true. It's just something that we were taught to believe. And a belief is just a thought we keep thinking. Now, here's the good news. As a human being, you have the ability to change your paradigm. And in fact, it's your responsibility once you become aware that you've been programmed. So what can you do right now? Well, the first thing to do is to recognize there's a paradigm, not from a place of oh, woe is me. Right. So we all have a story. I promise you Some stories will be worse than others when it comes to money. And like, own your story. It's okay. It's like, where you came from though is no indication as to where you're going. So, but understand it, like, oh my gosh, yeah, my parents did say money doesn't grow on trees. Or when I wanted something, they asked me how I was going to get it. And if I couldn't see the how, I let it go. But what if there are new beliefs that I could program myself with around money that would change my financial situation? What if I could program myself to think in abundance? And I see it as buckets. So if you hold up your two hands, you make it very clear you're either in the lack bucket or the abundance or prosperous bucket. You cannot be in two thoughts. You cannot have two thoughts at the same time. You're either in lack or abundance. So make it that black and white for you, and notice when you're habitually in the lack bucket, and you get to change it now. And so consciously become aware of it would be your first step.
Right.
The second tool would be asking yourself, like, actually changing the beliefs as you go, recognizing. I use things like affirmations, repetition, mirror work, self-image. I mean, there's so many tools that I can share with you. For any of your listeners, if you want to know what the repetition side of it, reading Think and Grow Rich, the book by Napoleon Hill, chapter on auto suggestion is huge. It talks about why and how to reprogram your mind into the prosperous mindset. And that's what we got to do. And usually it's not, like, if I'm honest with you, it's not very easy without help. So if you truly believe money is everywhere, money's energy, money is it must be kept in circulation, then how do you pay the lunch bill? What do you tip? Like, really, if you think about it, what are you clipping coupons at the grocery store? Nope, you're not. And it's not a problem. Like, we don't, like, because I believe that money saved is money earned, but it's when it overshadows, like if it's taking up hours of your day to save $2. Well, what is that? What are those hours worth? You could be going out and promoting yourself and, doing something that brings way more money to you, or has a bigger return on the investment, whether that is love or money. So I think we just really want to be conscious of what we're saying, what we're doing, and is it in alignment with the truths about money, or is it in the lack bucket? So at the base, the belief has to be that the amount of money you have is not finite. So even if they're taking, let's say, $500 for the week and they're putting that cash in their wallet, it's very important that that's not all the money they have access to in their mind. Even if they think, like, this is what I'm spending, the moment you put a cap and you make it finite, that's one of the illusions of what it means to be human. We think money is finite. It's not finite. So it must be kept in circulation. So as you invest it, let's use the word spend. I don't love that word because, again, the way that it has people feel. So I'm going to use invest, actually, like, because you can invest it in a lunch. There's not a lot of return on investment for a lunch, to be honest, but you can put it there. You can invest it in a Chanel purse. You can invest it in a charity. So wherever you desire to put your money, it's very important that you actually see it not diminish in your wallet, because there's circulation. So if you can imagine that money, like the infinity sign, I do that a lot with my hands here, because I have to see, like, I put the money in one place and it has to come back tenfold to me. I believe that, and it's true. So this is where giving comes in. So giving and receiving are the same ends, or sorry, different ends of the same stick. So again, if you think about the circulation of money, and it's infinite, that's why it's infinite, because it's circulating always between people. You cannot be held onto. If you're holding it in your wallet, that is such lack. It's kinking the money hose. So give freely, like, give freely. And the problem is people say, if I give this $10, I don't have the $10. for a moment. And that's the law, is that money must be kept in circulation. So if you want more money, in fact, give more money. Now, will your money multiply because and come back to you from the charity you gave it to? No, it doesn't.
Right.
It's not meant to do that. It comes back from the universe, which is infinite supply. But you give the $10, you must do it in an energy of giving, like really wanting to give. It
Mhm.
cannot be in the energy of trading, because the moment you trade,
Mhm.
it also kinks the hose. Like, I give that to you, so you give to me. Doesn't work. You follow your heart, your intuition. You give from this infinite supply, saying, I'm giving because I have faith, I have trust, I have knowing that the universe has infinite supply. I'm not giving my last $10 and there's no more for me. No, I'm giving in the energy, knowing it comes back. So I give the $10, and I honestly see it, because I'm constantly knowing the figure eight. It comes back to me in $100. And I've honestly seen that. And I also regulate my energy. So I've invested in I'm not at the moment, because it's a US charity, but another story. But I loved donating to Unstoppable Foundation, and I would donate $25,000 at a time. And when at a point when 25,000 wasn't an easy amount for me to donate, and it would be feel like, oh my gosh, like if I do this, there's nothing in the account. But I would do it because I got the intuition to do it, and I would put that money down and fill out the form. I would be at a Bob Proctor seminar, and I just had to really regulate how I felt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I know that it feels like a lack right now, because it's the last, like there's maybe a few thousand in my account left, and it feels like a big deal. I've got to trust, I have faith, I know how this works, and I really regulate how I felt. And I kid you not, like every time I've done that, clients just would come the next day, the next hour, like so abundantly, because that's the law. But you have to do it in praxis. You can't do it to trade, like, oh, I'm going to give the 25,000 to, because that's how I get the clients. It's like, so a lot of it's energetics. Like, you really got to manage your mind while you're doing it. All right. I love to hear from you. How was that episode on paradigms? Thank you for being here. And for all of our subscribers listening to 201 Plus, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Thank you.